Okay, there we go. Jeff, is there any way you're going to do this when you get home? I tried talking Frankie M into it. He couldn't do it with it for a couple of hours, so I'm guessing he's preoccupied. So I guess it's on me. Oh, Jeff, you forgot already. Jeff, if you email me your address or PO box, I got I didn't get stickers, and I promise you this wasn't after the video you put up about putting the stickers on magnets. I had already thought of that, so I went on Vistaprint, and I want all you guys to email me your addresses. If you have a PO box, I'm going to send you something. Not anything big, but just something so that you'll never forget. 61006. What's up, Brady? Okay, Frankie. Yeah, you said that. You said you were at work. Oh, Jeff. Oh, boy. You should be careful about putting that in the chat box. There's my email address in the chat box. It's pretty easy to figure out. It's just my screen name at Gmail. I've got your address saved, Jeff. I will send those out. I got a couple of people ask me for them. Yeah, yeah. Same goes for me, Jeff. I'm not exactly an anonymous person here. I'm pretty easy to find if you understand how to operate Google. So, but if I see the person coming, they're going to be unpleasantly surprised as well. So, Brady, I'm hesitant to ask this, but since I am the one hosting the stream, I think I will ask. Did you ever get the Did you ever get the toolbox? Cello, I'm 37. I just turned 37 about a month and a half ago. And when I get my hair cut relatively short, I look like I could pass for 37. But if I grow my hair out long, my hair is very gray, like bordering on white at this point, and I easily could pass for 60 years old. And that picture, Cello, that picture was only taken about 5.5 or 6 years ago, so that's not that old of a picture. But in the right light, I could look pretty much exactly like that picture. So this light doesn't do me much justice. Well, they say that about actors or models or whatever. Everybody has a good side. I don't know. I'm 37. I have yet to find my good side. Um, well, all right, Brady. Brady, if you wanted some views over at your channel, what you would do, and this kind of goes with part of the conversation we were having over on JYoung stream in the chat box. The best way to get views is to stir up some controversy. So you could do a Brady's Tools tell all about the status of the toolbox. Maybe that's not a very good idea. Maybe you're better off letting sleeping dogs lie. But I did kind of wonder about that. That doesn't exactly add up, though, Brady. I gotta say, because I know people donated more money than that. How many views do you have, Brady? And do you guys want to talk about that conversation, that thing that JYoung was alluding to with me? I'm trying to stay vague here because I don't really want to give the guy's channel any promotion, but uh, I'm aware of the fact that only about 50 people are going to watch this. So even if I do talk about it, it probably won't attract that much attention. Yeah, the ban list, Jeff. You want to hear about that? I was just getting ready to send Frank M. Emailed me about it. And, what's up, Bob? Uh, yeah, Brady, I do get emails about that from your GoFundMe page, but I just, I see a certain dollar amount there, and I see no toolbox. So it made me wonder. Yeah. Do you guys want to hear about that? How I made the band list? I think it's kind of humorous. I think the guy did me a favor. Okay, you do. So this guy's channel. I guess I'll preface my. Sorry, I'm reading. Yeah, Colden. Colden, I was actually up since like 2 or 2:30 this morning, and I realized a couple hours after I got up, hey, I'm up early enough to watch Colden's thing. And then I looked and I saw I had an email from like an hour early notifying me. And I tuned in, and I think I tuned in like 5 or 6 minutes after you shut the stream down. I thought, I missed it again. Yeah. Okay. Well, whatever, Brady. Uh, so anyway, I'll kind of launch into this and give my story. So you guys know 61006, never forget. You know what that's all about. I mean, it goes without saying, that's the date that I started my YouTube channel. And I didn't know. I didn't know when I started out on YouTube over 11 years ago now that my channel would become so legendary. I mean, let's just face it. I'm trying to think of a word here to kind of be humble about this, but it's hard to be humble when you've got a channel that's as famous as mine is, and especially now that I made that guy's band list, I think really he's just helping me spread my message, the 61006 Nation. He's helping me bring my message worldwide. So the guy's doing me a favor and promoting me. So 61006, never forget. And that's what Mdlee52 is all about. So, basically, I have a lot of subscriptions. I have a tremendous number of subscriptions on YouTube. And I at least keep up to date with them peripherally on most of the subscriptions I have. If it's somebody I'm no longer interested in, I unsubscribe to them, and uh, there isn't any malice or anything like that. I just think, I'm just done with that. I'm not going to have their videos show up in my watch list anymore. So I'm done with it. So of the 600 or 700, I think I have like 615 or 620 subscriptions. Of those, probably 350 or 400 are automotive related channels. The first channels I ever subscribed to that were automotive channels were Justin Dow, Eric the Car Guy, and Scotty Kilmer. And I found all three of those channels. Sorry, Frank. About a little over 3 years ago. You're right, Jeff. This is like Alex Jones, Megyn Kelly all over again. So I've learned varying amounts from certain of these channels. Most of them are just entertainment, but sometimes you come across channels like Eric the Car Guy used to be this way. Scotty Kilmer was kind of used to be this way, but he was never that in depth. But one of the ones I subscribed to, I don't know, within the last year and a half or 2 years was South Main Auto, Eric O. And his channel was just really, really informative. But if you ask me of the names of all the automotive channels, I could go through my subscription list. And I mean, if somebody has anything to do with automotive mechanics and they've got at least 10 or 15 videos up, I'm probably subscribed to them. And a lot of the people I'm subscribed to don't even really put automotive videos up. They'll just put tool videos or toolbox tours, and I'll just subscribe to them just to see if they put anything more up, just because I'm interested in it. So probably last fall, probably October or November, I found this guy who was putting up videos every week, not just every week, but like he would put up videos multiple times per day. He would put up, some days he'd put up like 3 or 4 videos, and he was a mobile mechanic. And so I thought, well, this is interesting. So I watched some of his videos and I thought, okay, it seems like to me, and I'm not an automotive professional, I'm just a do-it-yourselfer, but it seemed to me like he put up kind of a, it seemed to me kind of like he was putting up essentially advanced do-it-yourselfer videos. There was a difference from my fairly untrained eye, but as somebody who used to make a living working with my hands in construction, I thought he doesn't seem to do things the same way that Eric the Car Guy or Eric O or any of these people really do it. It seems like he's just got a very different style. And that's not to say that he was ineffective. It's just to say that he was different. But again, like I said, I thought, well, I think I could still learn something from this guy. And he seems like a, relatively harmless guy and kind of funny, in an odd way. So I'll subscribe to him. So I watched his videos and I commented on some of his videos. I commented back and forth with him numerous times over the course of several months. And he was pretty good about responding. And he seemed, like a pretty likable guy. And he had some videos on there about who I thought was his wife and their dogs and kind of like where they lived. And I was familiar with the area. I'd never been there before, but I had some, kind of background information on the area. So see you, Jeff. See you, minions. So this guy, I noticed he would make comments in some of his videos I would watch. It seemed like denigrating other mechanics. And he would talk about how good he was and how people would give him grief. And I thought, oh, okay, well, whatever. I didn't really pay attention to it. Well, then he put this first band video up. Gus Bus, the name is, I'm not going to say it on the video. I'll type it into the chat box. So that's the name of the channel. And having said that, if you go there, I mean, it dawned on me at some point during this whole ordeal that, oh, this guy's just trying to attract attention. So thanks, Frank. I'll see you later, man. So he made a video about how he had a banned list and he had all these trolls, and the main one that he was focusing in on is somebody that was really, really well known. It was Eric O. And I thought, oh, that doesn't make sense. I've seen a lot of Eric O's videos, and he seems like just a really down-to-earth, pretty humble guy. And he's putting, out some really high-quality content. But this guy who was making the band list, thanks, Con. I'll see you later. Bob, you nailed it. With the second comment, that first one, uh, Bob, you're showing your age there. So he had a band list. Well, he was focusing specifically on Eric O, and he was making a number of allegations that just seemed totally out of character for anything I'd ever seen out of Eric O. And he brought up another guy. He brought up another guy, Keith DeFazio from New Level Auto. And I thought, well, I don't know who that is. So that guy must not have many videos, if any. But I looked up who the guy was, and I subscribed to him. This was before Keith had any videos up at all. He mostly would just comment. But this guy was making allegations. So I since I had interacted with this guy before, I thought, well, I'll ask him. We'll see if he responds. And keep in mind, I think when I subscribed to this guy, he had like 1,800 subscribers. Then he made this, when he made this first band video, he had about 2,100. Now I think he's up to about 4,000, like in the last 3 or 4 months. That's how much more popular he's got, basically just from spreading falsehoods and putting the names of other way more famous channels in his titles of his video. Much like I did with this live stream, I put JYoung's name in it. So notice I learned from that guy. So anyway, I asked him, what gives? What's your problem with this? You're saying a lot of stuff, but you haven't really backed anything up. So what's the story on this? All he would really tell me in the comment section of videos is, well, you don't know what's going on. Wait just a little while. Watch the next band video. I'm going to have a whole series of these videos. So I thought, okay, well, whatever. I kind of told him, well, I think Eric O is a good guy. He's got a sense of humor. Maybe he claims that they had been in the comment section of his videos. Eric O had been in the comment section of this guy's videos under several different accounts, and that Eric O was trolling him, and he'd been told him to leave him alone, and Keith DeFazio was trolling him, and everybody was trolling him, and this guy was just a victim, And I thought, okay, I'm incredulous when I hear things like that, because personally I'm not an easy victim, and I don't think other people should be either. But it came across to me pretty much right off the bat that this guy had a serious persecution complex. So I watched the next band video, and he made comments within the first 3 videos he made. He made certain comments like accusing people of racism, and mentioned in the comment section, him and another guy were going back and forth about, oh, this is like, they act like they're in the KKK. And I just thought, wow, this is like totally unacceptable, because I think you guys will probably agree with me, or at least really agree with where I'm coming from. If you live in the United States and you're Caucasian, one of the worst things that you can be called is a racist. So when people make allegations of racism and say that you're behaving in a manner like somebody from the KKK would behave, it's like it crosses a line there where you think, okay, not only is it serious now, it's about as serious as it can get. And there were certain things said where he was trying to tie in allegations he'd made in his videos with supposed behavior from Eric O and Keith, and I just thought, okay, enough's enough. Well, I seized on one of the things he'd made in one of his videos, not in one of the band videos, but another video he'd made, alleging racist actions by people. And he had made a comment. In the comment he made, he said that he'd gotten back and forth on another forum, I think it was Facebook, and gotten in lawsuit action with people from Facebook. Basically, the guy's gotten involved in all kinds of lawsuits. People have sued him for, libelous activity, and he's countersued, and he was going through this in some of the videos too, and like, oh, this is what we've experienced. And it, in all honesty, it seemed like a lot of it may have been totally legitimate stuff. And it is hard for me to say because I don't live in the area that he lives in. I do have some cursory knowledge of it. Uh, I am vaguely familiar with that area, like I said before, but I can't say with certainty one way or the other whether he was actually uh, dealing with that or not. But I know that one of the things he said was, uh, oh, somebody said in a public forum on Facebook, well, we should just bring back public hangings for criminals, and that would solve this issue. So uh, I thought, well, I heard that growing up, and growing up where I grew up, I mean, it was an overwhelmingly uh, Caucasian area, racially speaking. In fact, the only people in the town that we lived in or lived outside of, the only people that were African American were members of my immediate family. So I was very aware of like racist stuff. It wasn't like I saw it all the time. I very rarely saw it, but it's not like I was ignorant to it when I saw it. And when I saw it, I recognized it for what it was. Hey, Top Wolf. So he was making, kind of get back on track, he was making allegations and bringing the term racism into it, and in the comment section going back and forth about the KKK and, oh, these people behave like this and they're preppers, and, you know, doing stuff that he would later contradict himself on pretty obviously. But so I asked him about that in the comment section of the video about the racism he was facing in his town. I asked him, you know, okay, well, what you're saying may well be correct, but just because somebody uses a term like we should bring back public hangings to discourage criminals from criminal behavior, does that in and of itself qualify as racism? Because I heard, growing up where I grew up, I heard a lot of white people say that about other white people who, because that was the criminal base where I lived. It was almost all white people because it was an overwhelmingly Caucasian area. So is that the same? You know, are you saying just because somebody says that specifically that they are racist? Because that just doesn't fly. That flies in the face of well, of intellectual honesty, for one. Well, he came back with an answer, and in his answer he totally misrepresented what I had said. So then I answered back, and then he answered back, and actually I saved screenshots of this after the fact. So I didn't really think anything of it. He kind of just said, more or less, after about 4 or 5 comments back and forth, he said, hey, I think this would probably be a good one for us to essentially just agree to disagree and let sleeping dogs lie. And I said, yeah, I mean, it's an interesting conversation, but you know, maybe you're right, and you know, we'll talk later or whatever. So I didn't really think anything of it. At this point, I had about 4 or 5 months of history with this guy, commenting back and forth, and he always seemed, you know, pretty reasonable, maybe a little bit off, if you know what I'm saying, but in each of us in our own way, we're probably most of us are a little bit off. So I wasn't off put by that specifically. But so I watched his next video to get back. He had alleged that Eric O, at one point he bought like a Craftsman impact gun, and the thing was a piece of garbage. He got it for like 19 or $20 or $30 on sale, and it had work. And I made some wisecrack about, well, hey, maybe you could send that up to Eric O, you know, get him to feature it in one of his videos, kind of as a backhanded diss or something like that, or maybe just as a funny joke, you know, take some tool that you buy brand new and it's a piece of junk, and so you gift it to somebody that you really don't like. That's my kind of joke. It's kind of like the time I sent Junkie those suspenders after he made that video where his crack was showing the whole time. But Actually, I didn't do that because I don't like Junkie. I did that because I did like Junkie. I thought it was funny. And luckily for me, he thought it was funny too. Um, but I watched this guy's next band video, and sure enough, in the background of the video, whose profile name is featured prominently right in the center of the screen? Mdlee52. And I thought to myself at the time, I thought, man, 61006, never forget. And I just thought, oh, I root for this guy's channel now, because in the background of every one of these videos, I'm featured so prominently. I'm going to gain so many subscribers off of this, because the more videos this guy makes, specifically about this subject, the more it's going to become obvious to everyone that this guy is a total fraud. And then they're going to look for people on his band list, and they're going to subscribe to him. And I will admit, it kind of went backward with me, because there's a couple of people that were kind of friends of his and cronies of his that I had been subscribed to. I wouldn't unsubscribe to him after that, because I thought a number of things. But the part of the issue was, how do I phrase this? Well, I'll kind of cut to the chase, because I'm not totally rambling about this, but I may be losing you guys somewhat. The only thing about this that bothered me was that he'd made a video about things that people specifically had to have done in order to make it on the ban list, and it was completely false. I didn't do anything even remotely approaching that. But I have gone over there and looked since then, and one of the guys that he promoted and featured prominently, and I think the guy's name was RV Shadow. I think he and that guy have had a falling out since then in a pretty major way. One of the things I can tell that this guy doesn't like, I think he's pretty self-conscious about the fact that he's not a, air quote time, classically trained automotive mechanic. Some of his methodology, although it can be effective in the end, is not, let's just say it's far from the textbook way of doing things. So he has these people he promotes, and then he's got big name people he likes to mention, like Eric the Car Guy and Scotty Kilmer and Scanner Danner, people that he speaks highly of and he tries to associate himself with and talk about how he's in their league and they're good techs too, and he's a great tech and he's one of the best techs on YouTube and yada yada yada. The guy's a total hack, and if you watch, the more I watched him, the more Unite Minions, see Minions, the more it became obvious to me, this guy's just a hack. He just hacks stuff together. And look, in automotive mechanics, even a blind sow stumbles onto an acorn once in a while. If you throw enough attempts and enough efforts at troubleshooting a problem that's a complex problem, eventually, if you can just keep trying, you probably will succeed. And for somebody like me, who's a total do-it-yourselfer, I think, okay, I can see that. I can see me doing something like that. But when it's somebody like him who claims to have had, over 20 years experience and a mobile mechanic, and he's charging people money to do this, I feel like he should be held to a higher standard than like I would. I've got a lot of tools, especially hand tools. And I have a fair amount of power tools and battery power tools. And I thought to myself at some point during this whole thing, I thought, I could go get a cube van and start my own mobile mechanic repair thing. I could get a business license. I'm not ASE certified, but I mean, I could do this too. I could go change people's tires and change out brakes and do oil changes and stuff that I'm totally comfortable doing. Anybody can do that. And I could post videos on this channel. And then maybe I could talk, a bunch of trash about really popular YouTubers like Chris Fix and Eric O and Eric the Car Guy and Scotty Kilmer. I could say all kinds of just nefarious stuff about them and may level all kinds of false accusations and really build up myself a following, but I'd be a total fraud. And if anybody watched my videos, any videos of my work, it would become obvious to people in the know that I was a total fraud. And that's what this guy is. He's basically a total fraud. So he's putting these ban list videos out there. He's banning everyone in sight. If anybody puts a comment on his videos, not even necessarily critiquing his work, but just saying, oh, hey, I'm a such and such tech. I know about that. I saw this with RV Shadow on one of the videos where the guy, Timmy, did something completely wrong. RV Shadow left a comment as soon as he did that video. I think it was on a Volkswagen or something like that. He had connected some of the vacuum lines wrong. And so he left him a comment saying, hey, you needed to put this. He told him specifically what to go do. And he said, if you don't do this, then this is going to happen. And then Timmy responded, oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to do it. Go do that. And he acted all appreciative. Well, that was one of the guys who has had a falling out with him recently, I guess, is RV Shadow. And it's because he's put too many videos, too much criticism on Timmy's comment section, and Timmy thinks, oh, this makes me look bad. It makes me look like I don't know what I'm doing. Well, there's a good reason for that. It's because he doesn't know what he's doing. Again, I could start a channel, I could rebuild an engine on a 2011 Mercedes. I've never rebuilt an engine in my life, but I'm sure I could film a video of me trying to do it. And I'd probably fool a lot of people too. I could probably make myself look like I knew what I was doing. But so Carlton, you bring that up about Eric the Car Guy. One of the things that this guy holds up is, oh, Eric O trolled all these people too. And in one of his more recent videos, he mentioned that. He had some proof, and it was the closest thing he'd ever produced, even remotely resembling proof of his allegations, and it was so farcical. It was laughable. It was laughable. Eric O had left a comment on one of Scotty Kilmer's videos saying, oh, I can't even, or something like that. Just some vague comment like, and the thing about Scotty Kilmer's videos, yeah, he does put information out there, but none of it's in depth. And sometimes there are obvious holes in what he's saying. So he's a lot like Chris Fix in that regard, where it's like, wow, you could condense all that into like a 6-minute video. Wow, good for you. But there are going to be a lot of steps left out. And if people are really trying to rely on that video to do something they've never done before, they're probably going to get themselves into trouble. So that was his proof, though. But this guy, Timmy, he holds up Frankie M. I would guess he was, I believe he's about 52 or 53. He holds up Eric O as like the gold, or Eric the Car Guy is like the gold standard. I found it funny knowing the stuff that's happened with Eric O's channel recently. If you guys go and look at Eric the Car Guy's most recent, I think it is the May, I guess that wouldn't be the most recent, but it's the May or the June edition of Eric the Car Guy's newsletter. He talks about how he's transitioning away from, yeah, Bob, good point. Eric O is too busy working and running a shop, a successful shop, and a successful YouTube channel to troll anyone. When you work that much, you don't have time to mess around, especially with this guy who is actually a troll. So this guy, Timmy, he holds up Eric the Car Guy as like the gold standard. Well, in Eric O's most recent edition of his own newsletter, he specifically recognizes that Eric O from South Main Auto is the best now at putting these kind of videos out. He says, Eric the Car Guy says, look, I started out doing that. I think I did a pretty good job at it. I transitioned away from it. I don't think I'm going to go back to doing it. If you're into that kind of videos, check out South Main Auto Repair. He puts some really great content. I think he's the best at that type of content. So the guy that Timmy is holding up as the gold standard, Eric the Car Guy, Eric the Car Guy's gold standard is Eric O. So that comes full circle, and there is some irony there. So I think I mostly covered it. There's a little bit more to it than that. He made a series of videos. This guy Timmy did about. He's pretty sly in the way he does some stuff. The series of videos were called Down South Auto instead of South Main Auto. And if you look at the logo for Down South Auto, it's almost a carbon copy of South Main Auto's logo. Also, his character name in the videos where Timmy is trolling, the name of his character is Cire, C-I-R-E. If you spell that backwards, that's E-R-I-C, Eric. So he's trolling. He's making allegations saying that essentially that Eric O is doing all this filming of these videos of these cars that come into his shop, and he's overcharging people, and he's trying to do it in a way that he wouldn't really expose himself. Timmy wouldn't expose himself to much liability. But after a little bit while this, some legal action occurred because Eric O was aware of it and had asked him to stop it. But the fact of the matter is the guy has now built his channel around putting the names Eric the Car Guy, Scotty Kilmer, Scanner Danner in the titles of his videos, and putting the name Eric O in the title of his videos and ripping him. Controversy sells. That's the sad part of this. And now I'm talking about it. And what I kind of wanted to lead off with was, I'm telling you guys this because I got questions about it on the other stream. Because people did see that's the other thing. The junkie saw this like a month and a half or 2 months ago and asked me about it when he saw me in one of his streams. He said, "Hey, what's the deal with that guy? What's that all about?" And I told him, "Yeah, the guy's just trying to get attention to his channel." The guy's got 530 videos up now. He posts a lot of days. He'll post more than one video, and it's very much highly unedited content, and it's more or less him climbing around under cars with shaky camera footage. The first video of his I saw, he was doing some comparison of Snap-on, Craftsman, Duralast sockets, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. I'd like to see a comparison video. And real tool reviews, he is not by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, there's no scientific baseline to anything. The camera work was just shaky and it was barely watchable, but I thought, well, hey, this is better than nothing, and I've seen all these other videos, so I might as well watch this one. Not all of his videos are that bad as far as the editing quality or whatever, but Nick, thanks for that vote of confidence, I think. Yeah, Bob, the thing about Chris Fix is that Eric the Car Guy, you guys really should go read his, I think it is the May or June edition of his newsletter. He says some stuff about Chris Fix that is right on the money, and it's not derogatory at all. It's just Chris Fix is kind of targeting a different audience. Carlton, you hit the nail on the head with your last comment. See ya, Colden. Later, minions. 61006. Never forget. This is the 61006 Nation. If you guys email me at my Gmail, I'll send you guys out my 61006 Never Forget magnet for your toolbox this week only for free. I'm offering it to you for free, and it's probably worth about what you'll pay for it. Yeah, Carlton, I hate to break it to you, my man, but there's a lot of fat people out there look that much alike, other than like one very distinguishing characteristic. Oso and I look a lot alike too, and he's Hispanic, and I like to call myself Native American. Actually, I like to call myself a centaur, but uh, trans species, we trans species don't really have all our rights yet, but hopefully, if Bernie eventually gets in there, I'll be able to start putting centaur on all of my legal documentation. All I need is I'll say this: JYoung made a comment a couple days ago or whatever it was in his stream about watching my stream while he was taking a shower, and he made certain remarks about that. And I thought, I don't know whether to be flattered or disgusted, or flattered and disgusted, or just disgusted and not flattered at all, or flattered but offended, or disgusted but offended but flattered. It was a very confusing feeling for me, so I think I just put in his chat, "Hey, thanks," and then I just kind of let it go after that. But I guess I haven't completely let it go. Um, yeah, I came in to the stream right as he said it too, and I couldn't believe what I heard, and so I just put what, and then he repeated himself, and he kind of walked it back a little bit, or kind of tried to clean it up for me, and I thought, oh, I feel a little bit queasy right now. Frankly, I do have a toolbox, and I think I probably will do a toolbox tour at some point. I got a relatively small toolbox, but I also got that small Harbor Freight service cart. The other thing is, I think I'm going to do a giveaway for you guys. I haven't really determined what I'm going to do. If I'm going to go for a specific number of subscribers, or if I'm just going to wait until I get a chat with a lot of people in it and then do it that way, or what. But at some point, I am going to do a giveaway for you guys, and it's going to be something worthwhile. Don't expect anything from Snap-on, but it'll be worth your while when it does happen. So anyway, just to kind of do some closing remarks, that guy's a giant waste of time, Timmy. I don't like him. I don't like his channel. I tried for months to like his channel because I thought this guy seems like a likable guy. But the bottom line is, from what I'm seeing, the guy's just a fraud, and he's trying to build his channel. And when you've got, less than 4,000 subs, and you've been on YouTube for a couple of years, and you got over 500 videos, and you have hours and hours and hundreds of hours of content, and your videos still only average about 200 views per, it's because people pretty much see through you. And if people knew what a sleaze you were and what a dishonest liar you were, they wouldn't want to have anything to do with you. Now, that's evidenced by the fact that the people that were closely associated with you now are mostly not associated with you. And one of the guys who is associated with, and Jason talked about this in his stream, that guy has specifically told me on YouTube that really he's embarrassed being associated with the guy. And he's tired of getting caught up in all of the drama. So even the guys who he seems to hold dear, he's not going to be able to hold them dear for any length of time, because the guy's just a louse. He's a fraud. He's a louse. I condemn him as such. And it's like I was saying in those streams for a while of Dallas, the good name of Eric O will not be impugned as long as I have something to say about it. I will not let that go by. Eric O's a good guy. The guy's got a good channel. And Keith DeFazio, too. I didn't really know him at the outset of this whole thing, but that guy's a good dude. I've seen over and over and over in these live streams him give out his information, his contact information, and offer to help numerous people for free. He offered to do that for me, and I was so embarrassed at it. I had some things that I could do for kind of a friend or whatever, and I thought, oh, I'm not going to take him up on it. I'm embarrassed. The fact of the matter is the guy was legitimately willing to help me out, somebody he didn't know at all. And I've seen him do that over and over and over. And I think a lot of you guys saw that the other day with Dow. Maybe that was Saturday. I don't know. I kind of took the day off from YouTube yesterday, so I'm not familiar. But he's offered to help a bunch of people, and he has helped a bunch of people out. And that dude Keith from New Level Auto, go subscribe to him. He's a good dude. And Eric O's a good dude. And this guy Timmy is a complete fake. He is a phony. He is a fraud. If he had any decency, he would completely retract all these falsehoods that he's put forward, and he would get off of YouTube, because he is a net negative in this community. If he left YouTube, it would be addition by subtraction. And that's all I have to say about that. Any other questions? Just about that issue? Yeah, Carlton, that's what I'm here for too. But that guy irritates me. I don't like dishonest people. That guy's dishonest. Timmy is dishonest. The guy's a louse. You know, Frankie, if you live closer, I'd probably, well, I can't say that. Frank, you need to get a toolbox, man. Oh, for the magnet, you're saying. Are you guys all clear on what my email address is? If you email me, I have these business card size. I don't want to give too much of it away, but whatever. These business card sized magnets for toolboxes, or it would work for your refrigerator. If you don't have a toolbox, you probably have a refrigerator. But is everyone clear on what my email address is? If you guys have any questions about that, or Nick, seriously, in all honesty, Colden's not in here anymore. I really did want to talk about Spike Lee, because I got a couple more theories about that. Some things just aren't adding up in regards to Spike Lee. I don't want to tip my hand too much. I'd really rather wait until Colden does a conspiracy theory podcast about that. Let's just say this. I don't think Bruce is in on it. To the best of Bruce's ability on whatever it was, Friday or Saturday, to the best of Bruce's ability, he offered proof of life. I think that was a totally legitimate attempt for Bruce to offer proof of life for Spike Lee. And I'm just going to leave it there. But there's more to the story. And I don't want to tip my hand too much. And if I tell you guys this, I don't want you guys to tell anyone. But if you do have to tell someone, make sure it's only one person. And make sure that person doesn't tell anyone. But if that person does have to tell someone, make sure that they tell no more than 2 people. And only close associates or family members. Or perhaps coworkers. Because I really don't want this to get out there. But let's just say this. Hard Knocks has the documents. So this is going to be big. This is going to be big. When Colden finally does that live stream, the next conspiracy live stream, it's going to be big. And I don't think you guys should tell anyone. To tell someone, make sure you limit it to no more than 5 people. And they should be family members, close friends, or casual acquaintances. But don't tell anyone. We're trying to keep this a secret. But that wasn't the real Spike Lee. That's what I'm saying. But I don't want to say any more about it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. People could get hurt. And I don't want to go into detail on it, but let's just say that this has something to do with Trump and Russia. And I've already said too much. So you guys don't tell anyone. Frankie, if it's made out of scrap wood, you could just take a drywall screw and take the thing I'll send you and just drywall screw it into your workbench. That'll work. Gus Bus, I'm glad that I can depend on you because I know you've been in Bruce's streams for a long time. And I wouldn't want any of this to get back and hurt Bruce. I think Bruce is legitimately trying to do the right thing. But I feel like Bruce is being used in this. I really wanted to save this for Colden's live stream, but let's just say this. I think that Spike Lee faked his own disappearance. I think it was Trump, Russia. I think Spike Lee is playing Bruce like a fiddle. Did you guys ever see that episode of Mission Impossible where they got the guy and he looks like the other guy, but it's a mask, but he replaces the other guy? You know what I mean? I think you know where I'm going with that. Let's just say that Spike Lee did like a rodent version of that. He put a fake Spike Lee into his place, and Bruce doesn't know anything about it. The real Spike Lee is out there. This is a complete Manchurian candidate situation. We're talking Trump, Russia. Okay, Hard Knocks has the documents. You guys have to understand, Hard Knocks has the documents. Ken the lawn guy. Yes, Hillary. Ken, you're already up to speed. You know more about this than I do. Mouth closed, ears listening. Nick, I need to know how old you actually are, and I want a real answer. Yeah, Nick. Nick says, Mdlee52, you should do a conspiracy theory video. I guess I am now. The part up to this point, the last subject we talked about, there was nothing conspiratorial about that. That was completely verified information. But here we get into the stuff with the alleged disappearance, now a known fake disappearance by Spike Lee. Spike Lee's out there right now, okay? He's out there. He's fully operational. You know what I mean? Spike Lee is giving his services to the highest bidder at this point, and Hard Knocks has the documents. Speaking of which, where is Hard Knocks? Why isn't he here? Why hasn't Hard Knocks been seen in any stream today? That's what you need to start asking yourself. Spike Lee knows where Hard Knocks lives. You get where I'm going with this? Hard Knocks could be lying dead in a culvert right now, gunned down in cold blood by Spike Lee. We wouldn't even know. But I don't want, again, I can't emphasize this enough. I don't want you guys to tell anyone about this. I think you guys should, mum's the word. Jeff, you forgot again? Somebody get, oh, Gus Bus already gave you a reminder. Nick, you're 15. Okay. Nice, Top Wolf. We'll see you, man. Ken, that's the thing, that you didn't like the way that Spike was looking at Bruce in the last video. That's what I'm telling you, Ken. That's not the real Spike. guys, you need to start thinking for, three-dimensionally about this. You need to start thinking out the box because I outside the box, because I guarantee you Spike Lee's thinking outside the box. Spike Lee is outside the box, literally. He's no longer in that box. That the chinchilla that is in that box is not actually Spike Lee. That is the fake Spike Lee. And I don't want to really even discuss the documents that Hard Knocks has, but let's just say it rhymes with CNA test. How's that? How's that for a hot take? Bet you guys didn't think you'd get that tonight in the JYoung Post Show with Mdlee. 61006, never forget. I just want to ask a question. Has anybody heard from Hard Knocks today? Is Hard Knocks okay? Did Spike Lee know that Hard Knocks is in possession of a DNA test that proves that the fake Spike Lee isn't the real Spike Lee? Yeah, I know flat Earth, but I mean that's kind of old news at this point. The Spike Lee is current day stuff. Nick, okay, second question, Nick. You just claimed that you're 15 years old. This is Nick Windsor now. We're going to dial in on this. Do you have a Snap-on Epic toolbox, Nick? I want to know. I want to know an honest answer. Bob, you said you talked to Hard Knocks earlier, but when is earlier, and how do you know that it was Hard Knocks? Telling you. You guys, Trump, Russia, fake Spike Lee, okay? Okay, gross. See you, Carlton. Sorry I missed. I got on a rant there. Oh, his meds kicked in. All right. Good night, everyone. Roy Waymeyer says, my earphones quit working for some reason. I think you need to call the nearest law enforcement agency right now. I think you are in danger right now, Roy. Why did your earphones quit working? It's going to add up here in a minute when you're laying dead in a culvert next to Hard Knocks and Spike Lee is standing over your quickly cooling body, snickering. It's then that we're all going to know that you were killed by a live chinchilla. That's the other thing. Spike Lee's got everybody. Spike Lee's actually a ferret. He's not a hedgehog. He's also trans species, which actually he and I are kind of allies. He being a chinchilla, and me being a centaur. Gusbus, that's a good point. I never even thought of that. This could be an inside job between Hard Knocks and Spike Lee. They could be in on it together. Well, all right. We're closing in on an hour. That's kind of my self-imposed time limit for these. Actually, we're over an hour. All right. Nick, you need to answer my question. Do you have a Snap-on Epic toolbox? We'll take your answer in the next live stream. We did get information from you saying that you were 15. Until then, Nick, remember, Bob, that would be a good idea. But until then, remember, in the words of the great Chael Sonnen, win if you can, lose if you must. But no matter what, always cheat.